Hey, what's up, guys? Your boy Shredder Chipper back with another one. Here to show off a brand new Son Goku GT deck profile. I'm not going to waste any time here on it, guys. I'm going to just go ahead and dive right into it. We'll talk about the battle cards, extra cards, and we'll talk about the unison, the leader, and how to play it. We're going to dive right into it. So with this leader, guys, here, what you're going to do with this leader here, it pretty much, so what it does is this. When this card attacks another leader, you're choosing one card of your life and you're adding it to your hand. If you do so, you draw a card too as well. So it has draw power to it, and also it self-awakens. And then how you awaken is when you get 4 life or less, you untap 2 and you're flipping the leader over. And then you want to do that as quickly as you possible. You want to you want to get to your leader as quickly, the flip side of your leader, the back side of it, quickly as you possibly can, so you can take advantage of those main effects. And with this card, it has some pretty unique effects here, as you can see. When your opponent has 4 more battle cards in play, this card can't be negated. So, and also if it attacks, you're drawing 1 card and you get a 5k bump to it, making it 20k. And also if you have 4 more in the field, if your opponent has 4 more battle cards in the field, you get quadruple strike. So that's something cool to take advantage of. Typically in the past, how I made a deck around this, I designed a deck in which I'll allow my opponent to draw, even play, at least allow them to play as many battle cards as they possibly could on the field. Allow them to do that, allow them to do that, and so I can take advantage of that effect, and I took advantage of the quadruple strike. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the cards I've chosen in this deck. Let's talk about the unisons and everything else. So I have Dormant right here. It's a really pretty neat card. This card is really strong for any green. It pretty much is a staple of that for any green deck. And it says permanent. If you lose a marker from your opponent's attack, you're taking a card from your life. So this helps you with self-awakening. And you're going to take advantage of that. And it stays on the field. Okay, and it still stays on the field. Okay. And then it has an active main. It gets pretty much 2 active mains. One of them, you get a 10k power here to it, and that's pretty nice. So it puts pressure on the build. I really like that. So that's something you're really going to take advantage of. And then the second active main is that you're choosing 3 markers on this card, and you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and you KO it. And then you're going to choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with 3 or less, with an energy cost of 3 or less, and an annoying barrier, and you're going to KO that card. So that's very, very strong. It's very strong and very good. I advise anybody to take advantage of it. Take advantage of that whenever it's necessary. But typically, you're going to really use this to help you self-awakening, and also you're going to take advantage of putting pressure on the board with this unison card. Don't get me wrong, you could take advantage of the second active main whenever it's necessary. And so this deck is pretty much centered around being hand control and hand destruction. Okay, you're not going to be too dependent among the quadruple strike in this deck, because you have a lot of the cards on your board that's going to allow you to put a lot of pressure on your opponent. But if you do have the opportunity to strike for you, go ahead and take it, along with using the cards that can put pressure on your opponent while you are trying to use quadruple strike. So we have Cell, Earth Destroying Kamehameha. You guys already know what it is. Active battle, 15k, and once you use it, as long as all your energy is green, they're discarding 1 card from their hand and placing it to the drop area. So that's actually pretty cool. Really good stuff. Those are cards we typically kind of know. Dormant, Potential Unleashed. This card, as long as you have a green unison card in the field, you can play this card for free at that. And it's pretty much a green version of Flying Nimbus, and this card is more accessible here for you. So this is a staple for green. It makes all green decks awesome. You're negating, you're choosing any number of your opponent's battle cards, adding up to a total cost of 2, and you KO in it. In addition, you choose 1 of your green cards in your hand. Your opponent, if you do so, your opponent can only attack 1 more time that turn. And that's it. That's pretty good. So slowing down your opponent. Another extra card you see here is a Shocking Death Ball. Is there also as a self-awakener. So you're there to take advantage of the counter to negate the attack, and then you're choosing 1 of your opponent's battle cards at an energy cost of 2 or less, and you're KOing it. So you KOing cards on the field, and then also if you have 5 cards in your drop area, you can play this card for free by just taking a card from your life. So that's actually pretty nice too. Is that we have artificial, yeah, yeah, artificial impact. You're typically not going to play this card for the active battle skills. It has permanent active battle. You can play it without paying its energy costs on it, but you're going to play the active main. So if your leader's green, in the case it is, you're popping something knowing barrier, and then choose 1 card from your hand and then discard it too as well. So it's actually pretty cool. It's really cool stuff. So that shows pretty much most of my extra cards here with the deck. I have cards in this deck that has synergy to recycle those. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But the super combo I chose here for this deck, I chose Great Saiyaman and Great Saiyaman at that. Typically, I mean, you guys already know what it is. You're discarding 1 card, putting it at the bottom of your deck, you're drawing 2, so that's actually pretty dope. But this card right here, typically, this card went up in value. Always saw the value in it when it first came out, and I got this card when it was relatively cheap. This card is very good. People don't play this much. I think it's a really good card for green in Staples. Dual attack on it, so you're swinging twice with it. And then it says permanent. If you have 10 or more non-black cards in your drop area, you reduce the cost of this card by 2, and you will have that. Trust me, you will have at least 10 cards in your drop area. And then it says choose 1 card in your drop area, and you're going to send it to the warp. When you send it to the warp, this card can, when this card attacks, you choose 1 green extra card from your drop area. You're going to add it to your hand, and then your opponent chooses 1 card from the hand, and they're going to send it to the warp. So that's actually pretty dope. That's amazing. So your whatever it is that you've used here in the any extra cards that you used, you're essentially recycling those cards. So cards like Dormant Potential, you're recycling that, allowing you to reuse that same card. Same thing with Shocking Death Ball. If you used it, you're recycling that same card. It's really useful. Really, really useful. So that's pretty cool at that. I think that card is really good. I love it, and I decided to play with it in this deck. So we have Majin Buu, Untitled Mollusk. You're just using it for the counterattack skill. This card is a staple for greens at that. If your leader's a green, negate the attack, and you're going to play this card. If you play a card, you choose 1 card in your hand, you're discarding it. That helps out with Super 17. Your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they choose 2 cards in their hand and discard it each time they want to attack. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. It slows down your opponent. We already know what this does with the Zymots. You guys already know what it is. It's there for the hand destruction case. It's easy for you to it's easy for you to play this card in the field. I mean, as long as you have at least maybe, 2 cards in the field, and they all add up to a total energy cost of 5 or so, and you're going to put them in the drop area, and you're going to play this card. And that's pretty useful. And then when it attacks, your opponent's discarding 1 card from their hand, putting it in the drop area. So that's pretty cool. Then we have Son Gohan, Hidden Might. This is a really cool card. It has deflect on it, so they're not counterplaying this card for nothing. They ain't doing that for them. Not for anything. It has unique, only 1 of them can be on the field. So you have to play this card. It's going to come in clutch. It's there for the end game if you want to. So this can be a win condition to the deck, in my opinion. A strong win condition at that. 3 or less life. Reduce it by 3, so you're playing it in 2. And if your leader is green, and which in this case it is, you play this card to either pop a card that has barrier on it, or you can remove a marker on your unison, which is also a strong suit too as well. Then we have a Majin Buu Unadulterated Destruction. This card is really strong, in my opinion. Not many people are playing with it. I don't know where the price is at for this card right now, but I got this card very cheap here, relatively cheap. This card should be up to like maybe 10, 15, even probably even $20. It should be up there because it should be like a staple for a green deck, in my opinion. This card basically is permanent if it's in rest mode, so you're gonna swing with it, obviously, because that's 30k power for it. If it's in rest mode, unless they choose 2 cards in their hand and discard them each time. And let's say they decide to attack this card, it has a revenge on it, so it's going to KO the same other card that attacked it, no matter what. Okay. And when this card is played from your hand, choose any number. Choose all your non-token cards. So battle cards in the battle area and all your unison cards. Ignoring barrier. You negate their skills and then place them in the owner's drop area. And then your opponent chooses 2 cards in your hand and they're going to discard it. So that's pretty good. And then your leader is mono green, but it's not a Majin Buu, so just don't disregard that. But however, the auto skill is, it says if you have 5 or more energies, if this card is placed in your drop area from your battle area by your opponent's skill, you're playing this card from the drop area. So that's actually pretty dope. That is pretty dope at that. So it recycles itself, making it very, very hard for you to kill, and it's very strong at that. It's a strong card in this game. Strong card. Really strong, in my opinion. Then we have, next, we have our Son Goku Spirit Bomb Unleashed. This card is there for pressure. It's also there to help you to remove cards, markers on cards at that. The first active main effect, limits 1. You can only do it once per turn, per copy on each card. If you have 3 or more energies and you have a green unison card in play this card from your hand. And if you do so, you choose up to one of your opponent's unison cards and remove a marker from it. So that's actually pretty good. And then the second effect is active main. Once per turn, the Spirit Boost X green unison. This card gets a 5k power for the turn for each marker you remove from your unison card with this skill. If you remove 2 or more markers, this card gains double strike for the turn. Awesome. Awesome right there. That's right off the back is awesome. And you're removing as many markers as you like here because it says Spirit Boost X. And as long as you remove 2 or more markers from this card, you know, you're removing, wait. Yeah, it says, yeah, okay, this card gets a 5k power for the turn for each marker you remove from your unison with this skill. Oh, excuse me, my bad. Yeah, my bad. Excuse me. I do apologize. I think I may have misinterpreted something. So, this is there for, like I said, this is there for the pressure. It builds up this card so much. You're getting a 5k power for the turn for each marker you remove from your unison with this skill. And if you move 2 or more, basically you're gaining double strike. And also you're getting a 5k bump for each marker that you did remove. So that's actually pretty dope. So not it being at 20, it's probably typically it's going to be at 20, 25 at that. But that's not too bad. It's actually pretty good. And then double strike for the turn. That's really useful. Then we have Frieza Charismatic Villain. Counterplay. You already know what it is. As long as you got unison on the field and you're playing it for free at that, and as long as it has 2 more markers on it, which in the case it will, or else it won't be played. And you're popping something as 7 or less whenever you want to use it. And that's actually pretty useful. And Ribrian, another hand destruction card. This card has to be in your drop area. You're gonna send it from your drop area to the ward. Use 2 of your green energies. Then your opponent's discarding 2 cards. This right here, just using this as a counter attack. These cards are self-explanatory. It's not a whole lot to really talk about it, but you're countering attack. You're negating his attack, and then you're playing the card. When you play it, you're popping something too as well. So it's actually pretty strong. We just talked about that, and we talked about those as well. And then here we have another card, Kakunsa. Basically unique. When you're playing it, you can only play one of these on the field. You're playing it, draw 1, active main, burst 2. Your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, 3 or more energies. This card is going to get a 16k power or double strike until the start of their turn. And that's actually pretty useful too. Maybe narrow this down to maybe 2 cards instead of 3. And then we have Vegeta. You're drawing a card when you do it. Your opponent switches their energy to active mode using a counter skill. Basically, they're choosing 1 card from their life and one card in their opponent's energy. You're putting it into the drop area as well. So if you have 2 of those in the field, both of these effects go off at the same time. Then we have, you already know what it is. Take a life, get 15k critical. And then we have another card you can take advantage of, Frieza Imperial Inspiration. You're comboing with either a leader or you're going to combo with a battle card. It doesn't really necessarily matter. You're gaining critical here with it, with that 5k bump to it. Typically, I would love to use critical with this leader's ability for quadruple strike, because they're taking 4 cards away, and then you got critical that they ain't gonna be able to use. So it's actually pretty nice. And then we have another in-gamer, pretty much is that. This is a win condition as well. Overwhelm, critical, and double strike. These things are, this could be looked at as a clutch, the card that comes in clutch and to win the game as well. So it's actually pretty nice. But anyway, guys, that's my deck here on this full power Son Goku GT, or we can just call it Son Goku GT quadruple strike deck. That is what it is here for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and more content coming soon.